Egg, what's up? Son of a bitch. Oh my god. I need 3 hands. Still a bacon. How's it going? Lee Limoreria? Hello? Sorry if I'm getting the name wrong. Marcus McBride, hey. Egg, inspiring how I continue to grind on my artwork. I appreciate that. I've got nothing else to really focus on that I want to focus on. I've got other things in my life I probably should be doing. But in terms of stuff that I want to do, I'd rather be making my art. I know this might sound kind of grim. I don't know, not grim, but kind of dour. I don't know. But there's nothing outside of my two sweet boys, my two kids, who I do have this weekend. There's nothing in my life that gives me joy like this. There's very little in my life that gives me what I would call like complete joy. It's my kids, and then it's this. It's my art. There's nothing else, So for me, I'm also in a position where, I'm not married anymore, and so I'm just living on my own. So I've got a lot of free time to myself. So I'm in a position to dedicate a lot of time to it. So it's not really a struggle for me to dedicate time to grinding my art. I mean, I know some people who should be spending more time on their work and they don't. But for me, it's not really much of a challenge because what else am I doing with my life? Plus, I'm too old in my life to like sit around and procrastinate it with it anymore. It's like the clock is ticking. If I'm making any headway, I better get going on it now and take this opportunity while I can. You love working out too? I wish that I loved working out. I should. I need to. It'd be nice to be able to have that kind of dedication like that. I've got a friend, this chick, this gal that I know. She gets up and she works out pretty much every day. She's up at like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, lifting weights that are, 50 pounds heavier than she weighs. She's a bad little motherfucker, and she's a tiny little petite thing. She's like 5'1" and only weighs like 113 pounds, but she's a little mini bodybuilder, and she puts in the work, and she's very healthy, and I'm like, man, I wish I had your dedication. But my dedication is to my comics. Mr. Artman, hello. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go, right there. There's something about this type of stuff for people like us where it's like I have to do this, you know. I can't not. It makes me happy in a way that nothing else fills that gap. This is actually the soundtrack to Star Trek V. No, that's 4. 5 is the where they take off to go meet God. What does God need with a starship? Patrick, how's it going? Hey, you're trying to save up money to basically quit your job through winter and focus on your art, but you're horrible at saving. I've actually been kind of good at. I've never had a problem managing money on my end, except for the moments when I get phone scammed out of it and lose it all. But you know, of course, now my water heaters, I can't get it to spark and light. So I have to have somebody come over tomorrow and see if they can't maybe replace the sparking little igniter unit. It's pissing me off. And then my car's going in to get looked at on Monday. It's just one thing after another. Yeah, I know. I keep meaning to. I've actually been thinking about that, putting out like commission slots available. You're 100% right. I do need to do that. My side hustle, I mean, in a way, is the YouTube channel. I do get ad revenue from it. I've honestly made $200 a month the last 3 months, which is double what I normally do. So I've gotten about $600. I consider myself extremely fortunate to be in that position. But so yeah, the YouTube channel's one side hustle, but I do need to be doing more. I'm obviously always sitting down and drawing all the time, so picking up a few commissions here and there is probably a really good idea. It's not about views. It doesn't really. It doesn't break it down like that. Um, like, it's really inconsistent, but like if I go into the YouTube app that's for people that, have a channel, like if I scroll back here, obviously the more views get a certain amount of money, but like this Fire from Heaven issue by Alan Moore and Jim Lee, it says I got 1,600 views. If I go into it and click on it, tells me I got one subscriber from that video and I made $8.60 on that video so far. So again, 1,600 views, I made $8.60 on that one. If I go back to another one, the one before it, Savage Dragon, there's 1,000 views on that one. If I go into that, I got 4 subscribers off that. I made almost $8 off that one. So yeah, I can't tell you $200 means how many views. It doesn't really work like that. This Captain America one, I got 2,100 views. I made almost $12 on that one. Looking for my highest one in recent times. My highest one. Youngblood, the new Youngblood book, 5,600 views on that video. I got $43.19, which is basically paid me back twice for the cost of the book itself. So I at least made my money back on the cost of the book and then doubled it. So anyway, it just kind of breaks down like that. Do I ever do my artwork alongside other artists? Never. I mean, there's just, we're all working people. Where would I ever have a chance to go sit down in an environment? I'm not in school anymore. Never went to college or anything like that. When I do when I go to the local comic conventions, I do artwork, and I have this friend of mine, this gal comes with me, and we sit there and we kind of do art together, and we talk and share, and sometimes, do things together while in between kind of trying to sell my books and stuff like that. But I've never really been in an art environment past high school, and I think it's really valuable to be surrounded by artists, but how do you do that when you're a grown man working a job and own a house and trying to live? Just, there's no way to do it, so it's just kind of irrelevant, unfortunately, to me. Addie, how you doing? It's something like that, Steven. You can look it up on Google. You can be like, how much money does someone get for 1,000 views? And it basically comes out to what I was showing. You get 1,000,000 views, you get a couple $1,000. That would be nice. I do have one video that hit 126,000 views, but it got demonetized because it's a Frank Cho book and there's naked figures in it, and so they don't let it get monetized. They let it get seen, but they don't let it get monetized. And I'm like, it pisses me off because I could have made so much money, I mean, by comparison, off that video. But because there's nude figure drawings in the art book that I was showing from Frank Cho, it's like, nope, you can't make money on this. Advertisers don't want to put their ads in front of a video that has naked drawings in it. I'm like, oh, fabulous. Well, that sucks. So I just kind of keep waiting for something else to pop off like that. I had one video pop off really well, 126,000 views. It's crazy, but no money made off that one. Egg, your sister is an art teacher at college. She and I used to work together. Yeah, I get that. That would be awesome. I used to be able to do these live streams with one of my friends, Jessica. Like a year ago, we were doing them once a week, sometimes twice a week, and it was really fun. We're actually, life kind of took over in her situation. She hasn't been able to do them with me for several months. But we've actually got one planned for this Thursday. Um, some of you newer people may not know who this girl is, Jessica. Her and I were doing live streams all the time a year ago. And she's really sweet and charming. And that was kind of the closest that I could get to having like art time with a friend, is because she'd see what I'm doing and we'd talk back and forth about it. And it's really fun. But, she's got 4 kids and a husband and a life, and it's just kind of hard for her to keep up. But we should be doing a live stream this Thursday together. It's going to be fun. Addie, you got into my makeup and I spazzed out creating on my face. I've taken on the persona of Paul Stanley. That's hilarious. Steve Yanis, you know Jess, she paints digital. Actually, no, not in the slightest. um, she doesn't do digital anything. She paints, um, but she doesn't do digital art at all. The gal that's been, my friend, I've known her for years, and we've done live streams. She doesn't do digital. Egg having a life is overrated, right? But yeah, Addie, if you're around Thursday, it's probably going to be round about 5 o'clock my time. That's mountain time. I'll put up a, well, you won't see it. You don't. I'll put up an announcement on YouTube. Yeah, Steven, yeah, she would do these side by side with me, but she doesn't do digital at all. Everything is painted acrylics by hand. She'd draw in pencil, she'd do ink, but whenever she was painting, she's painting in acrylic. Yeah, she doesn't do anything digital. So yeah, you're thinking of the right person, just, you know. I'll put up an announcement on my YouTube channel maybe the day before. I don't want to put up an announcement about it in case something changes on her end. I love her to death, but she's kind of flakes sometimes. Well, it's not flaky. I shouldn't say that. She's just got things in her life going on that could suddenly change at the last minute. I don't want to like announce it and then have to like rescind it and be like, never mind, she can't make it. But maybe the day before, but definitely the day of. I'll put up an announcement, Addie, so if you kind of pay attention to YouTube, um, I'll put up an announcement with it. Yeah, well, I haven't worked out the time with her, but that's when we used to always do them. 5 p.m. our time. We live in the same state, so it was the same time for us. But yeah, we're in Utah, so if that helps you kind of look up what you need to know. Yeah, I've known her for years. We've been good friends for years, and we just sometimes you run into human beings and you just click. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If she was ever like when I met her, I was married, and that's fine. I was happily married at the time. But and also she's like 14 years younger than me. But if there was a way in the universe that I could have ever dated her, we would have, because we just click. We get along. We just sometimes you meet people, you just kind of you just work. You just kind of become friends. But and that's just we've just kind of always kind of hit it off as friends, and it just, you know, that's what he's saying. We have chemistry. Yeah, and she's funny. She's got a great sense of humor. She looks kind of like this sweet, innocent girl, but she is not. I mean, she's a good human being. Don't get me wrong, but she'll say some fucked up shit, and that's why I love her. Addie, it's currently 11:04. Is that what you're saying? Where you're at? It is 10 o'clock my time. So there's basically an hour difference between us. So like, I'll show you my friend here. I always put up pictures to announce it of both of us side by side. But I haven't had to do it for a minute. I gotta go back and dig it up. Like, that's like one of the announcements I'd put up of me and her. Like, hey, we're gonna go live. Come join us. So, that's me and that's my friend. Um, there's the other one I like to use. Yep. She just had this random picture of herself and she sent it to me, and I'm like, well, goddamn, you look flawless. I'm like, stop it. I'm going to use that for our announcement. So that's what we did there. But anyway, in theory, Thursday. Cancel. Is that why I'm divorced? No, that had nothing to do with it. Yeah, Addie, she she's good at makeup. She kind of attributes it to like her artistic interest, you know. Your wife doesn't feel good when I have attractive friends who share my interests. Yeah, I get it, but no, that had nothing to do with the reason why I'm divorced. That's not part of it in the slightest. In fact, her and I lost contact for a long stretch of time. It wasn't until after I was divorced and I was sitting around in my house here just miserable as could be. Like, it was just unbearably miserable. So I started digging through my phone looking for someone to talk to. And I kind of came across her phone number in my phone, and I hadn't sent her a text message or spoken to her in like 4 or 5 years. And so I sent her a message. She's like, Rob? I'm like, yeah. And so we kind of just started catching up and just kind of reconnected as friends. And then we started doing live streams together. And there was actually like 2 live interviews with her on my channel because I was like, I wanted to talk to an artist when I was getting my YouTube channel going. So I sit down and just we're both on camera live, just live streaming together. She's at her house and I'm here, and we just kind of talk back and forth about art and stuff like that. And so if you want to see what she's like, she's really charming. She's really fun. It's on my channel for sure. But also, she is married, and that's all fine. But he doesn't like art, like he doesn't care about art like she does, and so it's easy for her to talk to me about it. So that's one of the reasons why we kind of get along so well.
Addie, all your friends are super witty, or witty supervillains with some sort of charm that can kill with the sight of their own face. Steven, does the husband have an illness or like a dangerous job? Are you talking about my friend?
Jessica's husband? Why do you ask that question? Did I allude to something?
Nate, my brother, what's up? Well, you're gonna feel really bad when I say this, Steven. Actually, one of the main reasons that she hasn't been able to join me these live streams for the past several months is because her husband has actually been very sick and it's not looking great. And so she's kind of been struggling and focusing, like they're changing all kinds of things around in their life. They're actually going to relocate out of state just to be near her family, just in case something bad happens. It's really, it really sucks. Um, but yeah, he's kind of battling a thing, and it's rough. So I actually feel really bad for her because, what do you do when life throws you an unbearable curveball? No, I mean, Steven, I know you were just joking, dude, and don't even worry about it. I feel bad for her because I mean, I sit here and I talk her up. Like, yes, I like her a lot, but that aside, she's happily married, and I just feel bad seeing that she's going through this with four kids. One of them's like a year and a half, two, and they're looking at not sure what the future's going to hold. It's really rough. So I've kind of just tried to go out of my way to just kind of leave her alone and not bother her. I don't want to be a pest. Like, hey, what are you doing? What's up? When everything was kind of fine, we'd chit chat and talk like literally almost every day, just kind of bullshit back and forth. But she's kind of been quiet for a while, and I try to leave her alone. So, she's got other shit in the world to worry about, but she hit me up and she's like, hey, we should do if you want, we could do a live stream this week. I'm like, sure. And then the next day she's like, what about Thursday? I'm like, absolutely. You name the time. I'm doing them all the time anyway. So, she's like, all right, that'll be awesome. We'll do a live. It's going to be fun. So, yeah. Don't anybody bring any of this up to her in the fucking live stream, by the way. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it in the first place.
And I feel bad for my friend. I feel bad for anybody who would have to go through this, but I think also part of it is like there's there's so much stress and things going on to worry about. It'll be nice to just take a minute and just sit back and do some artwork and just chat and just, you know what I mean, feel normal for a minute. She talked at length about how, you know, her art is one of the few things, kind of like we all kind of feel like if we don't have our art in our lives, we feel unfulfilled, we feel hollow, we feel not right. You know, that's how I feel. And she's expressed that several times. She's like, if I don't do my artwork, I just feel like I'm missing something. And she's like, man, my husband understands it. He's like, he knows I have to do this stuff. So part of him, she's like, part of him is like, he's super happy to have me be around to kind of like do live streams with her so we can do art, and he doesn't have to like try to pretend like he's interested in it. So it helps everyone out. So I think it'll be good for her just to be able to just stop worrying about other stuff that sucks. Luke, what's up, dude? What's crack-a-lackin', buddy? Sharma, you're from India, so it's 9:48 a.m. Dang. Yeah. You are from the future. What's the future like? Do the bugs win? The future is awesome. Sharma, people are finally living in peace. I wish. That would be nice for all of us.
This is no. Everyone's asking if I'm drawing covers, all these things. None of these are covers. I haven't done a cover for the book yet. I don't know what that's going to be. This is just a potential like pinup in the book. But no, not the cover, because these aren't the characters in the book. Luke, who is the character you have drawn most in life? Oh, God. I don't... I don't know. Somebody asked me the other day who's my favorite character to draw. And it's kind of the same thing. And I was saying I don't have a favorite character to draw because it just I don't think like that. I have favorite characters, but I don't have any character that I'm like I love to draw this particular character because I just love to draw this character. It just I don't think that way, you know. I could be drawing a character that I don't even like, but if the art that I'm doing is working, that's all I'm actually paying attention to, is if the art is working. But I don't have a character that's like, I love to draw Batman, for example, or something like that. The closest I could probably guess would be Wolverine, maybe, from X-Men, but I don't know. I don't have a favorite character that I like to draw. I am thinking about opening up commissions there, Egg, actually, now that you mentioned that. You know what, Addie, that's funny. Another one of my friends of the channel, Courtney, she hasn't stopped in too much, but she's got her Instagram page, and she's got her own characters, and she does nothing but draw her own characters like 99% of the time. Always trying to refine them and make them right and putting them in different kind of clothes and fashion. Courtney's really into fashion and stuff like that. So it's just really interesting. Like that's what she loves to do. She loves to draw her own characters, and she's really good at it. So yeah, that's someone that.
With 24/7 Live, ask any how-to, why do, or what if with Chewy.
Yeah, Nate knows Courtney. She's great, and she, like I said, she loves to draw her characters. She'll do commissions and other things, but given a choice, she likes to draw her stuff and her things, and they're really bright and vibrant. I don't know. I feel like Addie. I feel like you'd like Courtney's work. I'm gonna see if I can't find it. I mean, not. I mean, I can. I know I can. Like here's her stuff. Like here's Courtney and her own characters. She draws them. Everything's digital, and she does the colors and everything. She does different versions and different kind of color schemes. She's just really good at what she does. This clean, nice stuff. I don't know her character. Her name's Riley. She's like one of these animal characters with like cat ears or some shit. I don't know exactly what it is, but she's just always drawing her own characters. On her page is just filled with her own characters, top to bottom. She's really good. Hey, in fact, this one she did for me. This is a pinup of a character in my last book, and that's in the book. She did this one for me back in last August, and she did a really nice job on that one. So anyway, Courtney's great. Nate, your new logo? I don't think so, unless you put it on your page on Instagram. I think I would have seen it there, because I do follow you, my dude. Yeah, and she used her color. Yeah, Addie. She likes to use like you said, pastel colors. She's got a really interesting kind of color theory. It's bright, it's vibrant. My friend Jessica was saying when we were on a live stream with Courtney one time, she's like, I can always tell Courtney's artwork whenever I see it. Whenever I'm scrolling, you instantly know that it's her work. It looks distinctively her. You know, you're like, oh, I know that work. That's Courtney's work. That's always a good sign when you have such a distinctive art style that a person can tell just by looking at a glance. Like, oh, yep, I know who that is. I don't know about that, Nate. Does my art stand out? I don't know. I mean, I've never had anybody be like, your art sticks out, Rob. I know your work anywhere. Um, I don't know that I have a distinctive style. That's the thing. Courtney has a distinctive style, and certain artists like Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, they all have these distinctive looks. Jason Fajardo. I hope I said that correctly. Says, hey Robert, I recently found your channel. I'm a fan of your comic reviews. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that very much. I always glad anyone kind of finds my stuff and finds me entertaining. Some people find my shit and stop in to comment to tell me that I suck and then just move on. I'm like, that's all right. I get it. I'm not for everybody. But my channel's been doing 1,000 times better than I ever thought that it would, so I will never have any complaints. It's made connections personally and professionally that would have never happened otherwise. It's a little bit of a side hustle. I'm making a little money on the side, so everything's kind of working out. And then I get to sit around and chit-chat with all you fine people. Well, you're all fine people minus Nate. Nate's a punk. Nate knows better. Wow.
PBS Kids video app,
Come inside.
where you can watch full episodes of
Oh
your
my
favorite
god, I
PBS
hate
Kids
commercials
shows.
on YouTube.
Take all the laughter and learning with PBS Kids with you
Shut
wherever
up.
you go. The PBS Kids video
Oh my
app.
god.
Download on your device today.
Shut the fuck up. Luke, I actually got Battle Beast #2 just today myself, and I'm going to record a video for it. Won't be up until probably Wednesday, because I've already got videos for, no, Sunday, Monday, so maybe Tuesday. But, yeah, I got Battle Beast #2. It's great. Those guys are, they're really, you know, they're firing on all cylinders. Addie, you found me on a live stream? Well, I appreciate that. I know. I kind of figured. Yeah, Jason, I feel we're around the same age because I review a lot of comics I read when I was in grade school. Yeah, Jason, I'm 48, so... Yep, most of the books I'm reviewing are the stuff that I had as a kid, which is why there's so much repeating of titles and concepts and ideas. Some people are like, you should vary up the stuff that you review. I'm like, I get that, but I don't own everything that's been created. I'm just basically reviewing what I have, what I bought. And I do buy some new stuff, and I have had people send me stuff, and it's very awesome of them. And so I do try to put out some other stuff, but yeah, basically I can only review the stuff that I own, and unfortunately I'm not rich enough to go out and buy anything and everything, so that's why my stuff tends to feel like, you know, I review a certain amount of things because that's what I have. Yeah, Jason, so you'll be 50. Yeah, I'm about 6 months away from 49, so yeah, we're right in the same area, my man. We children of the 80s, teenagers of the 90s. Which is honestly not a bad way to go. There's part of me that kind of wishes I could have been a teenager of the 70s and, you know, a young adult in the 80s, back when shit was awesome. But what I got to experience was not bad. I actually really like this track on the... Oh, it's a pretty awesome time, Addie. Born in the 80s and teen in the 90s. Or grown up in the 50s, yeah. Luke, if I could see any creative team collaborate on any book or title... Oh, God. There's certain creators that I don't care what they do, I'll get it no matter what. Anything J. Scott Campbell would draw, for example, I will buy. Which sucks because he doesn't do anything anymore except covers. But that's just an example. Adam Hughes, anything, and I mean anything that he draws, I will buy. So, you know, it's not like what would be a creator that I like and what would I like to see them do, because I will pick up anything. I don't care what it is. I just want their art. If I could wave a magical wand and get something to happen before I die and before the creators die, I would love to see Todd McFarlane draw Spider-Man one more time. I would love to see Jim Lee go back and do an X-Men run one more time. I will pick up anything Mark Silvestri draws. Anything Travis Charest draws, anything Joe Madureira draws. I did watch an interview with Joe Madureira, you know, of Battle Chasers fame, and he basically said he's going back to Battle Chasers here really soon. He said that in an interview that's only a month old, so I am very excited to see Joe Mad do Battle Chasers again. That son of a bitch better do it too. There's all these artists out there that are some of my favorite creators, and I literally don't care what they would do, just do it. The only difference is, like, Jim Lee is drawing all the time. I don't like Batman as a comic. I'm not interested in DC comics. I'm not interested in Batman comics. So it's kind of a bummer because I love Jim Lee's work, but I don't want to see him drawing Batman. I'm not picking up Hush 2. I don't care. I'll probably pick it up later for the channel to review as content, but I'm not interested. And unfortunately, you know, I loved Rob Liefeld's older stuff back on the New Mutants and X-Force, and he's still drawing, but he sucks. He's also an asshole in person, so... Yeah, Jason, J-Matt is one of your favorites for real, you know. But he said he's going to go back and do more Battle Chasers. He said that, so... Luke, Valid, you thought I'd say Mignola, Claremont, or something like that? I mean, Claremont's days are over. He hasn't been writing anything relevant since he quit X-Men, and that sucks. You know, his legacy is forever written in stone, and it'll never change, but sometimes the magic is over. And I hate to say it, but there's nothing, I don't think he's got anything else relevant to say. It just, the magic is done. Because I've read many things that he's done after X-Men, and nothing even comes close. It just, it's the magic of those characters in that era with the artist he was working on that made them special, and you can't replicate that by just taking the writer and putting him at DC and saying, hey, make Sovereign 7, and no one gave a shit. You know, it just doesn't matter. So sometimes the ride is over, but that's just from a writing standpoint. But when artists are out there still just firing on all cylinders, like all the guys I mentioned, J. Scott Campbell, Travis Charest, Joe Mad, Todd McFarlane, Mark Silvestri, I want to see anything they do. Yeah, Jason, you liked Joe Mad on X-Men. I wasn't a fan of him on X-Men. I didn't really care for Joe Mad until he did Battle Chasers because he kind of sharpened up his style, and it was interesting to see. Suddenly he's doing a book of characters of his own that he like personally cares about, and he just kind of elevated to a whole other level on Battle Chasers, and that is what got me interested. But I was kind of neutral on his X-Men. It was fine, but I actually wasn't collecting it. My brother was, and so I'd read his copies. But yeah, I wasn't vibing on the Joe Mad X-Men, but everyone else in the universe was. And so, it's valid for that reason alone. Joe Mad's Battle Chasers brought you back to D&D table wizard. Yeah, he's Addie, you might take off all this makeup you got going on. Yeah, you were talking how you went a little crazy. Jason, how did you learn firsthand how big of a jerk Liefeld is? Tell us that story. Because I believe it wholeheartedly, because Liefeld is he's so hard to like. Treats everybody like shit unless you're kissing his butt. You complimented his art? How dare you? You son of a bitch. Were you the one who left a disclaimer? You don't have to leave disclaimers like that. Or, where he doesn't like it when people mention, I know people shit on your artwork, Mr. Liefeld, but I love it. And he hates that. He doesn't want anybody to bring it up in the slightest. It pisses him off when people bring up that other people say his artwork is terrible. You complimented his art. You told him his Gladiator was pretty solid, and he freaked out. Oh, man. What did he say, if you don't mind me asking? Because I think I got banned from one of his, his own personal account. If he saw the kind of shit I said about his books on my channel, he'd definitely freak out.
What do we do? We help with cars. Oh, RV coverage. Great. So I covered you. Because you...
Addie, you looking like the Joker? That'll freak your parents out. Yeah, Luke, I don't even know if his art's halfway there. I feel like he's just regressed so much. He's got interesting ideas, but he's so lazy. He doesn't ever draw backgrounds. Ever. He's just got characters punching, floating in the air. And he thinks it's the most brilliant thing on the face of the planet. And if you don't agree with them, you're a piece of crap. Just ask him. He'll tell you. Yeah, Jason, that's kind of what I'm talking about. If you just kind of watch from afar, like, he just shits his pants over nothing. He's such a crybaby about this stuff. I kind of get it because everyone's been up his ass about his work and his life and his business practices for 3 decades. And he's pissed and he's had enough of it, and I get it. But he goes off and does things like that, and I'm like, I got no sympathy for the dude. He's such a shit face. Jason, you actually left a comment on my Youngblood video and you said I was live, so you hopped in. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping in. Luke, you say, people say McFarlane's art is bad. I mean, Todd McFarlane's so divisive anyway. People are always going to shit on him. But I've always found his artwork to be fantastic. He's got a style that's different, but, I mean, if you look at that, like the artist edition of McFarlane's work, the Spider-Man stuff, like, it's amazing. Like, he's legitimately talented. He's just such a divisive guy because he's such an opinionated dude. It's easy for people to get pissed off at him, and then suddenly it's like, I don't like him, so therefore his art sucks too. I mean, all right, that's not how that works. And yeah, prime Liefeld for me was late New Mutants and early X-Force, and it's just never been better than that. He was legitimately good. He's got weird artistic sensibilities that just don't make any sense, but it worked. But then it just, everything got worse from there. And his current work, which he literally said I saw today, the work he's doing today is his best, according to him. I'm like, it's never been worse. Uh-oh, Addie can't take off her makeup. She's going to be looking like this forever. So if you see her out in the wild, point and laugh. Just kidding, Addie. We don't do that here. Unless it's funny. Jason, Eric Larson is your favorite at the moment, not just as art, but as a creator. He has to get more credit. Yeah, his Dragon stuff. Like, I don't know if you've seen. I've been going through his Savage Dragon run. I'm on issue like 15 or 16 or I can't even remember. Those are some of my favorite comics of all time. It's just so good. Early Dragon stuff. It's just fantastic. After issue 75, it went an entirely different direction, and it's never been as good. And I'm actually on the verge of dropping the book. I've been collecting it since day one. I've never collected a comic longer than I have Savage Dragon, and it's hard for me to let it go, but I find that I just buy them, and I flip through them, and I set them down. I don't even read them anymore. Yeah, you've been following my Savage Dragon videos. They're so good. They're so entertaining. And it's been so long since I've gone through these early issues, so it's kind of a treat for me to just get to revisit them, because I've read them all many, many times, but the last time I did a full run through the Dragon comics was years ago, probably 10 years ago. And so it's fun for me to kind of get to revisit them and just go, oh my gosh, these are so good. What are you talking about, Steven? He's never stopped doing Dragon. He's changed it up a lot. Like Dragon's dead, now it's his son that's the star of the book. But, and I appreciate Eric Larson's kind of idea. It's all in real time, characters age. When he started the book 30 years ago, the book was set 30 years ago. And so anyone who was like a young adult then, they're old or dead now. Yeah, Steven. Dragon's never stopped. He's approaching 300. He's in the 270s, I think, 270s. But yeah, Savage Dragon never ended. It's never stopped. I've got every issue. I still collect it to this day. I don't know, Steven. But yeah, it never ended, dude. He does pretty adult content in the books these days. Not all the time, but kind of when he's got like a funny bone in him or just a weird idea, he throws in adult content. Definitely not for kids. But I think he said that he's just kind of, his audience has dwindled down to just the diehards. And he doesn't want to make a book for children anymore, necessarily, because children don't read his comics. It's old-ass adults like us, so he throws in the very adult content. So I find it entertaining and funny. Jason, you saying he plans on passing the torch to the daughter, like the Malcolm Dragon's kid? Is that the idea that he's saying? Like, because Malcolm Dragon's got like a whole bunch of kids running around. He's got like, what, are there 4 or 5 kids? And does he say that one of the books is eventually gonna pass it off to the daughter? Wow, I didn't know that. I don't know. I miss Cop Dragon, you know. He was the most interesting one. It's just not the same. It's not remotely as interesting to me anymore. Addie, people like you reading a comic that expired in 2005. Yeah, it's interesting when I find a comic book and in reviewing one that's like made before I was even born. Imagine that. Something before 1977. In fact, my next 2 videos on my channel are going to be X-Men comics made in 1982. Orc Hunt. Great review of From the Ashes. Actually, so yeah, I was talking about in that video how that collection starts with issue 168, but then as I was digging through my books that same day after I recorded that video, I found issues 165 and 166. So I actually recorded videos on those just today. So that'll be tomorrow and the next day, showing those older stories. But yeah, from... God, let me turn on my overhead lamp here. Yeah, way before the Silvestri stuff. This is Paul Smith era. Yeah, this book, January of '83. So this one is up tomorrow. Sharma, Addie doesn't have social media. Her parents are smart and not letting her have it until she's of age. And I applaud her and her parents. Anyway, that book is tomorrow. And then this one is the day after. X-Men 166. February of '83. And then, I haven't recorded it yet, but Battle Beast #2. Hell yeah. Current comics on the channel. It's good stuff. Yeah, Jason, they're the Brood issues. And I was talking about how I am super not interested in the Brood characters at all. I just don't find them interesting in the slightest. But there's some fantastic character moments. And that's what makes these comics interesting. I don't care about the alien slug things, but the character moments are where the joy is to be found in these books. Oh yeah, I've read The Battle Beast. I read it, like I said, I got it today, and I've read it. Very good. It's very entertaining stuff. Ryan Otley is awesome. Steven, what are my thoughts on the Phalanx stories? I didn't care for them. I was kind of tuning out of X-Men at that point. The parts of them that were interesting to me were done when Jim Lee and Will Spertasio and Mark Silvestri left. And it went over to Joe Mad and other guys like that, and the kind of the artistic interest was shifting. So I was less interested in the X-Men books. And the Phalanx thing, I didn't really care for. I don't think it was terrible, but it holds no special place in my heart. Yeah, these books were, these were really good. This old newsprint stuff, man, it just, when they print it just the right way, the colors on this old newsprint, it's like perfect. It's flawless stuff. Jason, your favorite run on X-Men is Havoc, Psylocke, Dazzler, Longshot, Rogue. So kind of the Australian issues. Is that's that era, right? Steven, what's peak X-Men storyline for me? The Dark Phoenix saga, honestly. When I think, I love the Extinction Agenda in X-Men, but mostly because Jim Lee's artwork was amazing. It's like peak Jim Lee. And I do love the stories that were going on. But in terms of a storyline, beginning to end, that I found the most sincerely riveting from beginning to end is the Dark Phoenix saga. And the stuff building up to it first. The Proteus saga, just everything. But that's the thing with those old X-Men books, is that Claremont had time to build up these characters for issue after issue after issue, so we cared about them and we liked them, and when something dramatic happened, we gave a shit what happened to the characters. And that's one of those things, that's why I think it worked so well. But the best X-Men story is the Dark Phoenix saga, but the Extinction Agenda, and I feel like I kind of like the Executioner's song, honestly. It was, I know it's not a lot of people's favorite, but it was like the culmination of everything that had been going on in that peak era of X-Men, and I enjoyed it a lot, but nothing beats the Dark Phoenix saga. Yeah, Extinction Agenda was Jim Lee's showcase for sure. Pork, did I hear about Peter Simity moving to newsprint for his crowdfunded comics? I don't know who that is, and so no, I did not know that. But I like that idea. Yeah, Jason, Extinction Agenda was your first crossover issues that completely hooked me on the X titles. Yeah, I was, collecting them just before that. I was right there when Jim Lee started, right at the tail end of Mark Silvestri's run and the beginning of Jim Lee. And I was like, this stuff is the most beautiful comic art I've ever seen. I've never seen anything this amazing. And it just kept going and going and going. It was so good. Pork Hunt, Cable, Blood and Metal. That's that 2-issue Cable series, right? I liked it a lot. I know that Liefeld was supposed to draw that, and then he intended to, but then he went off to form Image, and Marvel told him to go suck an egg. So I think John Romita Jr.'s artwork on it actually worked really well. So Peter Simity publishes King Cryptid. His company is Alterna Comics. I should Google him. I have no idea who that is, but I should look that up. Yeah, Steven, thanks for stopping in. I'm not going to actually keep this going much longer myself either. I'm kind of done for the moment, but I'm just going to chit chat here for a little bit. But yeah. Yeah, Jason, remember the good old days when you could walk in with $5 and walk out with 4 books? For real, my dude. I remember when I was collecting in the late 90s, I would set aside 20 bucks every week to go get comics, and that usually covered a stack of things. Every week, 20 bucks would get you so far. Now, 20 bucks might get you 3 comics. You know? Those were the days. Yeah, I wasn't really personally stuck on Dale Keown on Hulk. I didn't really care. But man, was his art in Pit just a whole other thing, you know? But I do get why people were, his Hulk was. When I think of like the definitive Hulk, I can't help but think of Dale Keown. It's got to at least be factored in there somewhere. Maybe not the definitive artist of Hulk, but one of them. Like, you can't talk about the best of Hulk and not say Dale Keown somewhere. thanks, Addie. Thanks for stopping in and being part of the group as always. Yeah, I'm rapidly approaching the end of the Pitt comics. I think I just did issue 17 or 60. I think it only goes to 20, and it's just like it's just over. I don't know what Dale Keown was doing, but yeah. Thanks, Addie. Have a good night. But some of my favorite Jim Lee issues on X-Men were those where Psylocke was reintroduced as the Asian assassin, and how they kind of rescued her from that stuff, and the Mandarin, I think it was the Acts of Vengeance crossover. Poor cunt, shut up. Are you serious? Are you serious? How have I missed that? Is Pitt not in it at all? You say it's about his brother Roth. I know that character because I've been reviewing the books. Yeah, MEP223 for Early Uncanny Lee was the best Lee. Yeah, 100%, dude. It's never been the same. Yeah, poor cunt. Jason says, poor cunt, I feel John Byrne influences everyone. Yeah, that's for real. But poor cunt, yeah, I haven't heard that. I need to go look that up, dude. That's kind of exciting. I'd just be interested in Dale Keown coming back and drawing anything that has giant monsters ripping each other apart. Because that's what he excels at. Nothing in Pitt was really interesting except when Pitt was fighting some unbelievable, ungodly monster thing. And then it was like the best art ever. But, yeah, I haven't heard that. That's really interesting. I'm going to seek information. Andy Summers. I don't even know who that is. Is that on... Oh, X account. Okay. I have an account on X, Twitter, but I don't ever use it. I don't ever go there. We need Keown drawing Smurfs. What, Mandy Summers? Yeah, Pitt #1. Yeah, well, I don't know who this Mandy Summers is, but she looks like a art model. Good lord. She's like, I draw comics. Also, look at me. Which is, you know, if I was a hot girl with a nice rack, I'd use that to get attention, to get people to buy my comics. Stuntman Comics. You know, Jason, I follow Jim Lee's art and Scott Williams, and so you say that Jim Lee's art is getting lazy. I don't know if I would agree with that. It doesn't look lazy to me. It also doesn't interest me. But I can't say that it's lazy. So I don't know what it is that doesn't interest me. I mean, all the details there, the rendering, the backgrounds, the action. For me, I'm not interested in Batman in comics. I like Batman as a character. Jim Lee drawing Batman doesn't do it for me, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. I never thought Hush, the first series, was that interesting, but I'm not into Batman comics. It was fine. I collected the whole thing in floppies, and then I bought a big collected black and white edition. And again, Jim Lee's artworks, for me, it's all there, but his style has changed. Um, I just I don't know what it is. And Jason and anyone else, like, I've seen Jim Lee draw all these DC characters. I've seen him draw covers of the Justice League. I've seen him do Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and it all looks good, and I don't feel anything. But then I'll see him do like a commission of Wolverine, and I'm like, it looks brilliant. And so I think there's a certain amount of like personal bias for me that I like his art if he's drawing characters I'm interested in. And I'm not interested in DC Comics. So it's weird. The same guy does Batman, I don't give a shit. But then he sits around and does a commission of Wolverine, and I'm like, oh my god, it's beautiful. So it's probably my own biases. I can't say that Jim Lee's art looks lazy. It's just, it doesn't spark my interest anymore. Hi, my son. I will say, Porcut, you bring up All Star Batman. I'm going through those books. I think I've just passed issue 4. As weird as this sounds, as ridiculous as those stories were, I feel like Jim Lee's artwork was more inspired and interesting in the All Star Batman than his current Hush work. There's some big, dramatic, over the top imagery. Forget the story, like forget completely how boring the story is, or how ridiculous the story is. Jim Lee's art in All Star Batman, I felt like was just. It's the last time I felt like he had passion. I don't know why. Porco, Wildcats blew so much, but the designs and concept had so much potential. I feel like the potential of Wildcats was realized with Alan Moore, and then even to a better extent, Joe Casey. That's when I found Wildcats interesting. Yeah, Jim Lee's, like, there was an idea there, but he didn't know what to do with it. It's kind of like Liefeld and Youngblood and Silvestri and Cyberforce. Like, there's interesting concepts, but they didn't bring them to fruition, really. Yeah, I kind of figure. I'm not busting your balls, Jason. I don't think I'm doing that. But yeah, yeah, maybe it's passion. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Pork Hunt. Joe Casey, like, I remember he focused on Spartan, Grifter, Voodoo, Maul. I think he kept Warblade around for a minute. He kind of ejected. He got rid of Jacob Marlowe. He got rid of Void and just basically fused Void's powers into Spartan, making Spartan way more interesting. But yeah, obviously, like, Alan Moore created a whole bunch of other characters, like Grifter's brother and Tao and Savant, Mr. Majestic. I don't know if Alan Moore created Mr. Majestic, but he made them all interesting. But yeah, poor cunt. The most interesting thing about Warblade was him being Korean. He was never explored. Yeah, you wouldn't know that about him. He didn't. I don't know how how do you make a person look Korean? I mean, he gave him green hair. Warblade sucks. I say that. If you watch any of my videos about Warblade, that guy fucking sucks. He's so boring, almost as much as Maul. But yeah, Joe Casey, I like the stuff that he did. His run to me was fascinating as hell, and most other people don't seem to agree. I'll get to those eventually. I'm going through all the Wildcats issues in order. In fact, it's time for me to do another Wildcat. Expect a Wildcat video this week. I think I'm up to issue 24. But yeah, the only thing I could imagine Jim Lee doing that would get me excited again, like I wouldn't give a shit if Jim Lee came back to Image Comics and did Wildcats. Wouldn't care. He's tried that multiple times. It's never fucking worked. It sucks. But if Jim Lee were to go back to Marvel and draw X-Men, I would drop everything to see that. But I think that's just my own kind of personal bias and nostalgia from childhood, wanting to see once again the artists doing the shit that I want to see them do. I want to see McFarlane draw Spider-Man. You know, I want to see J. Scott Campbell do Danger Girl. I want to see Joe Madureira do Battle Chasers, which, like I said earlier, he said he's doing. Yeah, I caught some of that Warblade miniseries, right? It was like a 2 or 3 issue thing. Simon Bisley drew him. That definitely did some interesting things with the character that I was not expecting. I'm like, oh, that's... Huh. I am a Jay Lee fan. I like his current style, of course. It's dramatic and gothic and it's interesting, but I miss old Jay Lee. That insane, psychotic nonsense that he used to do. He'd do like 4 or 5 pages in a day. He even said he doesn't know how he used to draw like that. He's like, he couldn't do it again if he tried. He just doesn't know how. But I do like Jay Lee, and I have that on hold at my local comic shop. Jay Lee's got a new comic series coming out from Image. It's funny. I've been going in and getting on hold the new Robert Kirkman, David Finch book. I forget the name of it. And then there's a new Jay Lee book coming out. So I'm like, a couple of comics actually coming out. So yeah, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah. This ends tonight. Okay, yeah. I hope it's awesome, you know, because Jay Lee was fantastic. Then he did that Hellshock series, and he really fucking blew it on that. Like, issue 1 had only like 11 pages of art. And then the rest of the issues were kind of artistically interesting, but he very clearly did not know what he was doing. And I think he admits it. He said he doesn't know what he was doing. So then he went back and like hyper-focused on Hellshock Volume 2, and it's a completely different series. And it was well done, but it went on for like 3 issues and nothing happened. It was all like psychological conversations, and it was boring as fuck. It was artistically beautiful, but Hellshock Volume 3, what the hell was that? I appreciated that he tried hard, but he flat out said that he tried and it was driving him nuts because he could not make it as good as he know it needs to be. In Jay Lee's mind, he was saying, this sucks, and I know it sucks, and I know how good I want it to be, and I can't get it there. So he was like paralyzed by perfection paralysis. And so he just stopped and went back to doing comics for Marvel or DC or anybody. And he just gave it up until apparently now, as far as I know. So I get that. I respect it. But I'm like, God damn it. Damn, Jay Lee. But he seems like a nice guy. And he's good. So I'll pick up his new series 100%. Yeah, at least he's honest. I mean, right. Yeah, I'm not saying he should feel bad or anything like that. I'm not implying that. But he kind of admits that this sucks, and it's not what he wants it to be. He even said in the letters page, I think it was issue 2 of volume 2, where he's like, it's driving me nuts. I can't make it what I want. I'm sorry that it's like 7 months late. I'm trying to make this the best I can, so please be patient with my book. I'm trying my best. And then he was just done. He probably wasn't making any money. He's sitting around trying to make his own book and not getting anywhere. And he's like, I got to make some cash. So goes back to a sure thing. You were desperate for Hellshock to succeed. I mean, I imagine it probably sold well because it was in those early days of Image Comics. I'm sure it sold a ton and gave them a bunch of money, but when you reread the original Hellshock, it reads for shit. There's nothing there. You know, I did pick up Dark Tower. Did not care for it because I don't care about Dark Tower at all. And I didn't find it riveting or interesting, but Jay Lee's artwork was good. But I only ever read it the one time as it came out, and I've never looked at it a second time. I've got them somewhere. Eventually it'll be on the channel because, you know, I always need content. I just have to find them. But I remember thinking they looked nice, but I don't care about Dark Tower, so I wasn't connected to it, and just didn't stick with me, unfortunately. I agree. I think his Namor run, I didn't actually get to read it in real time, minus one issue that I found at the time, and then I think I found a second one later. And then I've been watching this other channel that's been going through all of Jay Lee's work on Namor, and I'm like, I have to find all of these. That stuff's fantastic. It's so interesting. That's where he really found himself. I'm kind of like, I think the Youngblood and the Wildcat stuff is kind of close, a little bit under. I don't know. I feel like the coloring on especially the Wildcats trilogy. I just recently revisited the Wildcats trilogy, and I kind of feel like the coloring fucked it up. It was too overdone, but it's still like his peak artwork for sure. In that old style that he used to do. But I want to find all those Namor issues. There's some fantastic art in those. Well, guys, I think I might shut it down here. It's about 11:30 here, so yeah, thanks, Jason. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. It's good to make your acquaintance, sir. Yeah, there'll be 2 more Uncanny X-Men's in a row, those old issues. And then Battle Beast and some other stuff, obviously. But tons of X-Men's to go through. I got a whole pile of them, like right here. These are all like my X-Men issues. The Jim Lee runs and everything. Some Mark Silvestri stuff. I keep those kind of separated. Got those going right there. piles of artwork in my little art space here.
It's crazy.
Is it an art space if it's not cluttered? But yeah, I'm gonna be signing off here. So thank you everybody, and may or may not be on tomorrow. I'm not for sure. All right, everyone. Catch you later.